Okay, so I'm going to show you what I do during bath time. I have my water running. I want to make sure that it's a good temperature before I put the dogs in the bathtub. So I just test it with my hand or the inside of my wrist. I have my bath mat, which I bought in the dollar store. It is non-slip, so it helps the dogs to have a little bit of traction. I also have my shampoo and also my conditioner pre-filled and ready to go. And then I have a blueberry facial scrub by Spa that I'm going to use to clean the facial areas. And now I just need a test subject. So here's Lizzie. It is time. She hasn't had a bath for 2 weeks. It is time. And I'm going to use the sprayer on my kitchen sink to wet her coat. Now I washed them in the kitchen sink because they're small and it's easy. I bought a deep sink on purpose. And I want to just make sure that the coat is good and wet. And I'm careful around the eyes and the nose. And she just thinks that I'm giving her a little drink. And I want to make sure that I spritz the belly and soak that down, her back, her tail, her backside, and her legs. Sometimes she stands up for me. Today she's not too crazy about the idea. Okay. So in general, it might only take me 10 to 20 minutes to wash a dog, depending on which dog. But I'm going to use my Tearless shampoo. It's a facial scrub. It's really excellent at getting out all the dirt and other debris. It's used to control tear staining, which I think is great. And I just massage a little bit into her mustache and her beard area. And they're pretty used to it, so I grab hold of her mustache and I massage it in. And I'm going to let this sit while I apply the shampoo. And it does really smell nice. I don't know necessarily if it smells like blueberry, but it does smell really nice. Okay, so I have my shampoo handy in pre-filled squirt bottles. The shampoo and conditioner both has to be diluted. And I like these. They're for mustard and ketchup. I bought them in the supermarket for about $1. And I like the pointy tip because I can get in between the coat and underneath the top layer. And you want to massage it into the dog's coat as opposed to scrubbing it on because then you're just going to set in tangles when you have a long-haired dog. I routinely clean the front feet, the front 2 paws, and her back 2 paws. I move along to the back side and the tail. And these areas are typically the dirtiest parts of the dog, so sometimes it takes a little bit more application to thoroughly clean the dog's coat. And when I'm finished with those areas, I'll go for the chin and massage that in real nice. And then depending on how well I've applied the soap, I'll go for the belly. I do rinse out my caps and set them aside in my dish strainer that's on my counter. And I pour it straight down her back, the remainder of the bottle. It's not necessary to scrub this into the coat. Just by rinsing her with it is enough to penetrate the double coat. And I like the fact that this shampoo makes a ton of suds because a lot of times I just use the suds to massage the shampoo into the dog. Okay, so I'm going to make sure it's massaged in. Can't stress enough how much you want to be thorough when you clean the dog. And it feels good on their skin. They really enjoy it. I have set aside my measuring cup that I fill with extra water to force the majority of the shampoo out of the coat prior to using my hand sprayer to rinse her off. So as you can see, I'm just going to get the remainder of the shampoo. I'm going to start with her head and her facial area. And you know you're finished when you don't have a ton of suds left. It's just very important to get the majority of the shampoo off the dog. So you want to spray the feet really well. I get her front feet, her back side, the back paws. I keep calling them feet, but they're paws. I think we all know. Sometimes I tend to humanize my dogs. And then I'm going to rinse off her tail and her rear end. And just make sure in general that I have all of the shampoo out of her coat, that I'm convinced it's rinsed out. If you find that your shampoo is making too many suds for your taste, you can dilute it more when you start off. And then I'll just fill up my measuring cup again, just to be certain that I got everything. I tend to console the dog, tell them repeatedly that they're doing a really good job, and try to make them feel comfortable. At this stage, they've been getting a bath since they were very young and they're quite used to it. Doesn't necessarily mean they're always in the mood, but I mean, there are times that I'm not always in the mood to get in the bathtub either, but it must be done. I'm going to put aside my facial scrub because I don't need that anymore. I'm going to drain some of the water out of the bottom of the sink and some of the suds. And I'm going to get my conditioner and apply it in the same way. You don't want to scrub it into the dog. It will cause mats, and excess conditioner definitely sets the mats in, which I've brushed her prior to giving her a bath, so I'm confident that she doesn't have any tangles to begin with. And I apply it to around her facial area, down her chest, her legs, and I just massage it in. And then I'll drain some more water out of the bottom of the bathtub. Yep, there we go. We're going to get the hind legs, under the tail, condition the tail. I tend to squirt a little bit more conditioner in those areas where the dog will mat, the armpits, the base of the tail, behind the ears, and straight down the back. Okay, so I'm going to take my lid off, rinse it out, set it aside for later, and just pour the remainder of the conditioner right down her back. And then I give her a good rub down that I want to make sure, because it has to sit on the coat for a few minutes, that I've absolutely gotten everything. Oh, and I don't know if I mentioned, but I bought a grooming smock because they like to shake off in the bathtub and then I get wet. So, I kind of feel like it looks a little silly, but it's more for a functional purpose than anything else. And then I'll take the opportunity, because I like it to sit for a few minutes. You can leave it sit for up to 10 minutes. However, I don't find it to be necessary, because the dog stays like greasy almost, but it's an alternative for professional groomers and show people to oiling their pets or their dogs. But I don't do this. I rinse out my bottles and I'll put them aside, and then I'll pour the water from my measuring cup onto her to force out the conditioner. Sometimes with this conditioner it doesn't feel like you got it all, but you really did. I mean, it conditions the coat, so some of it does remain on the coat to an extent. I like to thoroughly rinse them. So as you can see, I'm going to rinse her facial area, her ears, her chest, her front paws, down her back, her tail, her butt, which earlier I found a stick stuck under her belly, which I had removed. I don't know if you saw it. But even after I do a full grooming and I put them in the bathtub, for some reason I just find debris that's hiding out in the coat. I don't know how this happens or how I missed it, because I'm all over every inch of the dog, But I think they're like little hamsters. They hide this stuff and save it for later. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that she's clean. I removed the bath mat completely to let all the excess shampoo, conditioner, what have you, hair wash down the drain, which actually I have a little cup to catch the hair. And then I'm going to just, I like wring her out. I don't press too hard, just lightly to get the excess water off of her before I wrap her in her towel tackle. And then she's pretty much ready for a blow dry. I let her sit, however, in her towel for 10 or 15 minutes so she's good and dry. There she goes. Oh, and there's Cousin Shiloh keeping us company in the background. The other dogs like to hang out because they get snacks after bath time. I give it to everybody. So we're back, and she's all clean, and she's in her towel, and we enjoyed making this video for you, and I hope that it was a big help. In a future video, we'll show you how we blow dry. Have a nice day.